Hello fellow Photoshoppers, it is I, Mark Elmo Ellis, with another exciting video from PhotoshopTrainingForum.com, where we teach you how to clearly and concisely use Adobe Photoshop. This time around we're going to keep playing with layers, and we're going to add a text to a layer, and then after we add the text to the layer, we are going to then rasterize and use a gradient on that lettering. Okay, so we're going to put some lettering in there, then we're going to rasterize it, and then we're going to add a gradient. 3 simple steps, but it gives a really cool effect. All you have to do that is go over here to your horizontal type tool, click on that. We're going to go up here and select from our fonts impact, leave it at regular. Now we're going to keep this pretty big. We got it at the top setting because this is a pretty large image. You can make this as big as you want to just by typing the numbers in there. Let's do 82. Okay, so you can actually type the numbers in as big as you want there. Alright, once you've done that and selected your font, and I'm using impact on this one, and your size, we're now going to go down here and place it into our image. All you have to do is, to create a new layer with text on it, is click somewhere in that image. You'll get your flashing cursor, and you'll notice over here in layers you have layer 2. Whatever you type in here is going to show up on this little symbol right here, the very first word or two. Okay, so here we go. We're going to type in kick it hard. Okay, that's not the name of the movie, but it's close enough. Anyway, the reason all of those letters came out capitalized is not because I held down the shift key. Impact font is all capital letters, and that's the way it's going to come out. With other fonts, you're probably going to have to use the shift key for larger letters, just like you would if you were typing on a regular word processor. But in this case, we're going to use impact, and it's already capitalized. Okay, so we have our text put into the area on the workspace, and if you want to, we can just turn off the layer that's got the image on it so we can see what we're doing a little better. I'm going to center this a little bit. Okay, now the first thing we need to do is we're going to do a thing called rasterizing. Any letters that you use from the fonts need to be rasterized, and it means because these things are made in a different way, and therefore they're not the same as the images that you've got in the background, like this one. It's different. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to rasterize it, and it's so easy to do. All you got to do is Control click on this image here where it has the T. Click on that. Notice that selects the letters. Now they have these little dancing lines around it, right? Now we're going to go up to right click again, and you'll notice a menu opens up when you right click on the blue area of your layer. Slide down here to where you see it says rasterize type. Click that. Now you've rasterized your type, and that means you can change the colors of it and manipulate it with the transform tools and everything. But the main thing we're concerned with today is putting a gradient on here to make it look really cool. Okay, now what I did was for my colors I selected right straight off of the image. Now you'll notice on here I did something. I made a mistake a second ago, and I just want to show you something here. Alright, if I click on layer 1 and I move my guy around, right, notice that the little dancing lines are moving with him. And you're going to say, well, gee, how am I going to get back to where I started at? Okay, let's say I wanted to move him just a little bit over to this side here. And you'll notice the little dancing lines are not there. You have to click on the layer that you were working on with your letters. Then you go up here and you click Select, Deselect, and then you have to do the same thing you did before. Either you can right click on this and select Pixels, or you can Control click, and automatically, that's a shortcut, it will select those lines again. So that's how you can do that. Okay, now we're going to select our colors, and the way I selected my colors was I clicked on the first swatch, the top foreground layer, and what I did was I just selected off of the clothing actually. So I went to a light color on the clothing, and I clicked on that. Then I hit OK. Same thing with the background. I wanted the colors to be similar to what he was wearing. So I clicked on a bright color from that, and I hit OK. Alright, now I have those colors. The next thing I wanted to do is go over to my tool palette, slide down here to where you see this little box. That's called the gradient tool, or you can just select G, and you have already selected your gradient tool. Now, what the gradient tool is going to do is it's going to take these two colors and mix them together. And up here in your options bar, you'll see options for this. You can have your gradient going horizontally or vertically, depending on which way you drag your mouse. You could have it done like a starburst or from the center outward. There's a bunch of different things here. You can have a line going through the middle. We're going to select the normal one, the linear gradient. And now these are still selected now, and they're still dancing around the letters. You're going to hold down your left mouse button and drag it. And you'll notice you've got a shade of green here. And depending on which way you drag this thing, right, it's going to change it. Or how far you drag it. Even if I just drag it just a little bit, look what it does. If you drag it a lot, it does it like that. So forth. That's just about right. That's what most people do. The other gradient options in the options bar is the one from the center here, which is called the radial gradient. See how it comes out from the center? And you could drag these different ways. Have to play around with it some. The angle gradient, like that, puts a hard edge on it. Reflected gradient. This is good if you want to add a chrome effect to your lettering or whatever you're working on. And the last one's called the diamond gradient. It gives a diamond shape. See that? So if you want like a little sparkle up there, you could do that, or you can do it bigger, so forth. So that's kind of a diamond effect to it. I think this one really looked cool, was the reflected gradient on this particular lettering, so we'll just keep that on there. Once you're finished, you can go select, deselect, and if you want to add a really cool effect, and I think this looks really good on these types of things, you can go over into your effects over here, and you can add a layer style to it. And I like to use the stroke. See that? So click on that, and you can also click on the yellow color. You can use your eyedropper tool to pick whatever color you want, or from over here in the color palette, but I want to use something off of the image itself. So I'm going to click there, and you can add whatever color you want. Actually, I think I'm going to make it black. Alright, hit OK. Then you can change the size of that by dragging your size meter, the opacity if you wanted to, make it transparent a little bit, so forth. And it's just that easy to create a really cool effect with lettering. So practice with that, get out your gradient tool, practice around with it, learn a bit more about how you can use letters and rasterize it, and you'll have the coolest effects with Photoshop that you've ever seen before. This has been Mark Elmo Ellis with PhotoshopTrainingForum.com, where we teach you how to clearly and concisely use Adobe Photoshop. God bless, and have a great day.